role of the convener of conveners, in my mind, has been most prominently displayed in just a tremendous tremendous way by the Eastern Workforce Investment Board, and this is I think an initiative with the Manufacturing Pipeline Initiative that in my probably 12 years now in the workforce world, I don't know that I've seen an initiative that pulls together so many disparate partners into one program to deliver results. This initiative is purely a demand-based program with leadership from the board, manufacturers that are both large, 17,000 employees, all the way to 12-employee manufacturers. And they've designed the curriculum, the assessment tool for entry into the program, which is a short-term intensive program to give individuals the core competencies for entry-level manufacturing jobs. The board brought multiple partners together from a number of disciplines, including regional manufacturers, the Eastern Advanced Manufacturing Alliance, community colleges, vocational technical schools, adult education, and the Department of Labor, along with state legislators and a variety of community partners and local elected officials. Instructions provided by current and former industry veterans. Many of them are loaned to the program by regional employers. And over the last 3 years, the program has placed 1,500 graduates in jobs with 180 different companies. And what I think is maybe the most impressive stat of all here, 80% of the graduates entered the program without any previous manufacturing experience. As a result of the tremendous outcomes, the Connecticut General Assembly has passed a $50 million bond bill to replicate the program throughout the state. And I could go on, but needless to say, I think this is a program that both in its scope and reach of partners, as well as its results, certainly deserves special recognition. And so I'm very happy to extend the chair's Award for Excellence in Partnerships to the Eastern Workforce Investment Board and the Manufacturing Pipeline Initiative. And we're very, very honored, I think, today is probably the best way to describe it. Accepting the award is the Honorable Congressman Joe Courtney of Connecticut's 2nd District, and Chris Jewell, who is the chair of the Eastern Workforce Investment Board in Connecticut. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us.
Great. Well, thank you, Andrew, for the invitation to stop by and or drop in via remote platforms to spend a few minutes. Again, I'm speaking to you from the Rayburn Building in Washington. We're actually going to be voting on an infrastructure bill, which hopefully is going to give a lot of your workforce boards a lot of work to do for many years to come. Again, for me, it's a great honor to be asked by the folks at EWIB to join Chris to accept this award, which I'm very biased, but I think is actually extremely well deserved. And again, it happens in the context of really, the economy of southeastern Connecticut is going through a generational surge of manufacturing work. Again, I chair the subcommittee on sea power and projection forces on the Armed Services Committee, as well as being on the Ed and Labor Committee. And again, the Navy is totally committed to recapitalizing their submarine programs, both the attack submarines, the Virginia class, as well as the ballistic class Columbia. The Navy actually literally just signed a contract last week for $10 billion to build the first 2 boats in the Columbia project. Again, that's going to be a 20-year construction plan for that new platform. And, in the wake of the Cold War, when, the demand signal for the Navy had kind of vanished, so too did the sort of refresh button in terms of generational training for young people to get into manufacturing. Again, the leadership at the Workforce Board in Eastern Connecticut understood that we had actually a looming gap that really needed to be filled fast. And again, the manufacturing pipeline initiative was created. Again, John Beauregard was the director at that time, and I call him the prophet because he really saw a trend that was fast approaching and that we really needed to do things differently. So pulling together all those stakeholders that you described, Andrew, who came up with a very centered curriculum that was very focused in terms of the skills that were needed. Again, you've had these just jaw-dropping, eye-watering numbers that you described. And having been to a couple of the graduation ceremonies, people like to throw around the word transformational a lot, in terms of talking about new ventures. Watching the emotion of these graduates who, as you said, Andrew, many of them haven't, touched a wrench or held a torch or done anything even remotely close to manufacturing, and see how much confidence and excitement that they had having gone through this very intensive, fast course that did not bankrupt them financially, and to just sort of see that, again, there were employers waiting anxiously and eagerly to hire them, and to sort of check in with them every 2 or 3 years and just sort of see how they've really created a life for themselves and their families that's sustainable, and that frankly they feel they're doing, and they should, great things for the country. It's a very moving, transformational event to sort of witness. So again, we had the U.S. Department of Labor early on make some sort of seed money investments. Tom Perez was Secretary of Labor at the time. He came up and walked through the yard. It was roughly about a $6 million grant, and as you point out, the state of Connecticut now has doubled down in terms of its own investment, and it's a model that again is being replicated in Connecticut. And I know that the Navy is huge fans of this project, because they had a group convene just a few months ago down at the Pentagon to sort of figure out how we did it there. So this is an award that really, for all the stakeholders that participated in the WIOA structure, which again, NAWB is instrumental in terms of good input and advocacy on a very bipartisan issue, by the way, to make sure that it actually really works and it happens. And with that, I'm going to yield the floor, as they say in Washington, to my good friend Chris Jewell, who again is at the helm as chairman of the board and doing a great job. Great to see you, Chris, from far away.
Thanks, Congressman. Appreciate it. Yeah, we are super excited and super proud to be, to be recognized in this way with this award. And one of the key things in the title of the award, which I think is very fitting, is the outstanding partnership component. We had a lot of moving parts to get this train going in the direction we had wanted to do it. And really it took partnerships at the federal level with Representative Courtney and his staff, at the state level with our local senators and representatives at the state level. The governor was involved in some of the process. More importantly, really a lot of it was the dedication and efforts of the workforce board here in Eastern Connecticut. We have a fabulous group of people that serve on the board. We have an excellent staff. We have excellent leadership. And all of that really was a big component to that success. Also, we had a lot of industry partner involvement to really create that demand model. Knowing your industry well enough to understand what has to be done is really critical in a success like this. Next was obviously getting involved with the high schools and the community colleges for them to be able to give us the supply and train the supply of people to meet that demand curve. And lastly, a big part of the component was getting organized labor on board and having them understand the value of these programs. So it's really been a collaboration of a lot of directions. Our local economic development has been involved. It's really been synergistic. It's been nice because everyone is pulling in the same direction for the same goal. And I think that really has been the secret sauce and the specialty that's allowed this to work. So to be recognized by 550 of your peer organizations is incredibly humbling. I couldn't be more proud of our staff, of our board, and of our executive director in seeing the fruits of their labor be recognized in this way. So again, we can't thank you enough. We love the support. We love the fact that this wants to be replicated at the state level, maybe at a regional level beyond the state. It's really, really exciting, and we're glad to be part of it. Great. So thank you again very much.
Well, and Congressman Chris, just again, very well done, very well deserved. to the staff at EWIB as well. Great job. As we close the session here, we are going to be playing a video, but please visit our awards page. There's more information about all of our winners that we would love for you to check out. So thank you all so much for sitting with us here, and enjoy the Forum 2020.